And joining me now is one of those, Congressman Steve Cohen, a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman Cohen, thank you for being here from Memphis. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kendis.
Okay, so as you know, the Speaker of the House says that the Intel Committee Chair, Adam Schiff, will be the ones that will lead this effort. You're on the Judiciary Committee. You think that's a good call there? Why them?
Well, they have the ability to hear things that are classified. They all have history and experience in those issues. And because this is a foreign affairs issue, a foreign diplomacy issue, and national security issue, I think it's important that some of the hearings be held in a classified setting, and that's what Adam Schiff and his committee are the best at.
And that said, the Judiciary Committee members, you all will get to vote on whether there are grounds for impeachment. So kind of walk me through this process right now.
Well, Intel will do work during the 2-week break that we're on. They will subpoena folks. They will subpoena records. They will try to have hearings. I think they'll be obstructed by the administration as they obstructed the Judiciary Committee by coming up with every ridiculous, ludicrous response they can to try to avoid testifying and complying with subpoenas. And then we'll have to go and cite them for contempt, and this will be in court and take time. I think they'll find the same problems we have. They may not have a problem with Volker, and that Volker has resigned. I think he might want to testify. They might have, but they'll have problems with some of the other people. But they'll do what they can to get testimony. And as they develop their story and their case, and they're liable to find other things. Some people have said that this particular situation is like the missing gun, the shot that went off that they needed. I think it's going to be more like an arsenal. I think they're going to find things about the Saudis. I think they're going to find things about the Russians. Now, it's going to be difficult to find that because the Trump administration will try to obfuscate and try to not give Congress what they need, obstruction of Congress. But there's, I think, more information there where Trump talked to the Saudis and the Russians about things he shouldn't have, that are concern our national security and might reveal some financial involvements that he has with Russian oligarchs close to Putin and or with the royal family in Saudi Arabia. And that's important for the American public to know.
Really quickly here, let me ask you about Ambassador Volker, because to many, his resignation came as a surprise last night. But a lot of people are saying he resigned so that he'll be able to talk to the committees and to Congress. Have you guys gotten any indication that he's willing to speak with you?
I've only heard it through third parties, and the third parties have suggested that he would be, that he was uncomfortable with the whole situation, that he is a straight shooter, that he will tell us all he can, and I think that he will testify.
And is he the link right there? Is he the link to everything? Do you get a sense that that once he speaks, that it'll connect all the dots?
Well, I think that it'll help, but for sure, and whether it's all the dots, I don't know. You know, he was contacted by Trump and or Pompeo and asked to go to Kyiv and kind of grease the wheels for Giuliani's visit. How much he did that was, he can tell us about. There may be some other things Giuliani did. He's not somebody that you control. Once you get him in someplace, he's going to do whatever and not going to abide by the rules. And so you might need some other people to testify. I suspect there's going to be somebody from Intel Committee. I think they said Jim Himes was going overseas. I suspect he'll be in Kyiv. I don't know that for a fact. But I think there's a lot of areas where there needs to be people questions, depositions taken, and possibility of hearings. And I know there'll be a hearing with the IG who did the report from the whistleblower, and hopefully we'll have the whistleblower. But I think it's going to be very precarious for the whistleblower. He's an American hero, he or she. And they're being threatened by this president who said something about treason, and the suggestions he makes could set somebody that's not very mentally stable off. And that's, Trump knows that people that have mental health problems can do killings, and yet here he is saying things that could invoke the danger to an American hero and a CIA agent.
In the last hour, Amy Klobuchar, the senator from Minnesota, spoke about the differences with me between the Mueller investigation and this. Here's a listen.
After going through that long-ranging Mueller report, which I think had some very damning things in it. We know that one of the focuses here is to keep this on the facts. And the difference with the Mueller report, which I think you know, is that that was about a past election. This is ongoing conduct about this forthcoming election, conduct that happened while this man was president of the United States. And that makes for a different national security argument.
Okay, so you heard the senator there. Do you agree with her on this? Should it be a narrow investigation into this incident involving the Ukrainians?
Well, indeed I do, because it is an ongoing situation. And even, you know, the president was interviewed by George Stephanopoulos, and he told him then he would take information from a foreign power. And Stephanopoulos was startled and said, you know, that's against the law, and you should call the FBI. And Christopher Wray then testified he should call the FBI. But he made it clear that he would take it and want to listen to it, and here he is soliciting it. So the man just does not learn. He's incapable of obeying the law. He makes his own rules, and he will do anything to get elected. He learned that from Roy Cohn. There's a movie out about Roy Cohn I suggest everybody see, because it shows who trained this man, and it's very questionable. You know, the smoking gun, it's out there, but it makes me think about Nixon. And for those of your viewers who remember Watergate, this situation and this area where they've kind of closed up these discussions with certain foreign leaders, and this one had nothing to do with classified information, which is where that particular tape or broadcast went to. It's kind of like Rosemary Wood's missing telephone calls, where they were cut out. And that's kind of where this is, and I think it may lead to more things, and it just needs to be somebody to be able to get into that. Well, I'm sure we'll subpoena that and try to get in camera, in Intelligence Committee, in classified settings, access to those conversations, and I think they will be entitled to them.
All right, we'll leave it there. Congressman Cohen, who's actually been calling for the president's impeachment since November of 2017, when you filed articles of impeachment. So you guys have been finding different things for several years that you feel this president should be impeached for. Our thanks to the congressman. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome, Kendis.